Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies tonight. Tonight we're talking about what are you doing with COVID-19? Are you drinking more? Are you drinking less? Maybe we'll talk a little about Dr. Scotch topic on does whiskey help you in this scenario? Otherwise, we're going to talk through some of the what Scotch for Dummies is doing this week, and we're also going to talk through what you're doing this week. Stay tuned.
What's
Man,
up?
that's a good intro.
What's going on, guys?
Hey guys, it's Scotch for Dummies.
Welcome to Thursday.
Four guys
is Thursday.
on the screen like we couldn't hit each other's houses with a rock.
We're
still being social distant.
This is weird for us because we literally we could see each other's. We could walk out of our front door and see all the other houses, but that's more than 6 feet. So we're doing what we can to try and prevent any one of us from getting disease, from any of our families from getting any issues. So it's tough for us, but we're trying to provide content and provide quality information for you guys that are out there as well. You're sitting at home. Scotch for Dummies is here every
We're
Thursday.
here.
I've been waiting
And
for
happy Thursday,
information
guys.
all week.
Cheers.
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 I don't know what week number this is into this stand down quarantine thing, but it seems like it's been longer than it has, I'm sure. So I hate to say this is not going to be the new norm. This is temp, right?
Temporary.
This is really weird.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see you guys, and I'm glad to see you guys are doing well. We got a ton of people in already, or what?
We're getting there. We're getting there. That's
Wow, we
growing.
do.
Who do we have online, Sean?
We got all kinds of people tonight. Let me scroll back up to the top here. It looks like we got some new folks, some old folks.
What?
I did see Hoagie's in, so we got our German people are coming to see us.
Yeah.
Scott Under is on. Too Slow. B. Blocklinger. That was a new one. Brad Murphy, of course, is in. Let's see. Trooper's in. Greg Bowers. Steven, Kim Rhetoric. Let's see. Who else we got? The Linux Cat. He was in our pre-show. That was good to see him. Jimmy T. How you doing? Bob H. Justin. Mark JG is in. Let's see. Who else we got? Rob G. Sunday Evening Scotch. Always good to see you, sir. Greg Lewis. Yeah, so we got Tom R. He was in our pre-show.
Tom's got a nice beard going on.
Man. Yeah, there's a lot of people on. Christopher David. So, yeah, we should looks like we should have a good evening tonight. Wheelhouse Whiskey's in, of course. Hi from Campbelltown.
Bob H. Man, that's crazy.
Campbelltown.
Yeah.
Campbelltown.
Ian McSporran. Hi from Campbelltown. I was just having a Springbank just a second ago. So cheers to you, sir. Thanks for joining us. So
Hell yeah.
All over the place. DB She's rolling in tonight.
Hey. Good.
Yeah, looks like we got a good crowd tonight.
Well, it's good to see the brands in because we don't want Sunday evening Scotch in because that's brand in.
We like when both of them join us.
I see Scott from Test Dummies is in too. How are things going out there, buddy? Hope you're all right in Kansas.
I hope everybody's all right. We've got people from all over the world in here,
man,
and it's hitting every place different. We only see a small slice because we all live on the same street, but I know it's different. No matter where you are, it's definitely hitting things different. Some harder and some not as hard. So I hope everybody's staying safe and taking care of themselves.
Yep.
We had an interesting week this week, didn't we?
We did.
Drew set us up.
We started off a little unique, guys. We know normally what we do every Monday, we have our review, and we thought about how can we do this virtually, and I think it was Hoagie previous Thursday's live show said, hey, you guys should do like some kind of blind thing or something or other. And it got me thinking about it. I'm like, I think this would be kind of fun to do, like a mini Roy blind test between all four of us here. So we did that on Monday. That was a lot of fun. I think I threw some good ones at you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I found out that I am much more of a noob than I should be.
Well, it goes to show you it's the whiskey on trial, but it's also what you like, and you went to what you liked, Andrew.
Johnny Walker Black is like one of my favorites. It's great.
Hey, you guys, you want to kick the the podcast off so we can dive into what we're really going to get into? I mean, we've got a pretty good show, and we got a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2. What's up, guys?
Hey guys, it is Scotch for Dummies.
4 guys on a Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase. I'm Drew.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Mark.
Welcome to the show. So this week, Drew threw an interesting challenge at each of us this week. We did a blind challenge that Drew put together, and we each did a different blind challenge. So mine was the battle of the 20-plus-year-olds. Mark, you had the middle of the road.
Middle of the road.
Yeah, and I had the wheelhouse surprise.
So I kind of want to start off by just asking Drew, like, what was your inspiration for the blinds? Like, how did you have something in mind when you started doing this, or did you just like kind of look through your whiskeys and kind of pull some bottles out that you thought were interesting looking? How did you go about doing this?
Well, honestly, I was trying to figure out how can we do this. I was trying to figure out the whole idea of putting it all together, logistics and everything else. I'm like, okay, how can we put it together? Who's going to do what? And I thought, you know what? I remember I did Roy's not too long ago. I guess it was back in December or something, or maybe longer. Maybe it was a year ago. I don't remember. But I really liked his format, and I thought that would be kind of cool to do. So I started looking at my bar, and I started looking at some things, and I started putting some bottles in my bar, and I was trying to figure out what I could do. Originally, I was going to do 1 or 3 bottles for all of you, and I thought it might be too easy. So I thought I'm going to do 3 separate, unique blind tastings for you guys. And so I kind of put bottles together and kind of thought this would be kind of cool. This would be kind of cool. So I put some 20s over here, and I'm like, well, it'd be kind of cool to do a little 20-something. And then I started thinking about Andrew. Of course, you can't give Andrew a bunch of sherry bombs because he's not going to really like them as much, but he's going to like smoky stuff. So I started looking at my smoky collection. I thought, I'm going to see if I can get him to really try some different things and throw him off a little bit. And then Mark kind of got screwed, to be honest with you, because I had a bunch of 12s and 15s. And I was like, all right, let's see if you can figure out some ages.
It was tough. It was tough.
It was tough.
But
so
it was fun.
When we started doing this, we were like, okay, do we have different bottles? Do we have the same? Did he throw us a curve? So we started tasting them, like, my number 1 tastes different than your number 1. How maybe they're not the same, and so it was tough for us. Yeah.
I'm reading all these comments, man. Everybody's having a good conversation. I love the comments. It's tough for our podcasters, but to talk more about the blind challenge. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it, Drew, when it's my turn. Right now, currently, I guess the ball is in Sean's court, right? So Sean, you're kind of on the hot seat to put together some kind of blind for us for next Monday. Is that it?
Yeah. So I actually had quite a few helping hands. Not necessarily like picking stuff out, but just like giving suggestions of things that they think would be fun to do or interesting for you guys to try. So nobody, I will say, has been like, let's screw these guys over. You know what I mean? But it's much more like this would be an interesting compare and contrast for you guys, and maybe you should think about doing something like this or something like that. So I will have to say I was interested in a couple of different things that they had talked about and suggested to me. And then I had one of my own that is completely unique that nobody has done.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to decide exactly how I want to compare and contrast. So yours yours will probably be the same challenge for all of you, but it's probably going to be a multi-stage challenge. Like you should prepare yourselves.
All right.
See, that's
There's
cool
some
thing.
quotes that are coming to mind, Sean.
See, I've got an idea for the blind for you guys. It's going to be kind of different than what we've had, and so I mean, you guys sort of know what's on my bar, but there are a lot of bottles that haven't been opened that may be open for this. And so it's going to be fun, really fun to see how you guys work through that.
I've been thinking about it when it finally comes to me, and I'm not ready. I mean, honestly, I've got a few ideas, and maybe I'll be fortunate like Sean, and some suggestions will come my way, and they'll spur some good, serendipity for me. But right now, if you said it was my turn, I'd probably be saying you guys are in trouble because I'm gonna, I'm screwed. But we actually do have some interesting samples to try here in the future that some folks have shared with us. Travis sent us some really good stuff that are sherry bombs that I'm excited to get with you guys. And then, last week Zach sent us those Texas balcones, and I just, I want it to be like our typical format when we're at the bar downstairs at Sean's, the four of us in person. We've kind of grown up dissecting whiskey that way, and that's kind of what I enjoy. So we're going to put that on hold till then. But I appreciated your effort on this blind challenge. It was definitely tough. I saved my number one sample because I still need to challenge you back and see if you think that maybe the bottle is dirty.
You still want to face the fact that you messed up.
No, I'm telling you, man, you got to smell this thing. I'll challenge you back. I'm going to pour your Glen Grant into a glass and this sample into a glass and tell me that they're not completely night and day different. We'll try it.
All right. But I'm looking forward to it.
So that's the Monday show, right? Let's talk about that real quick so people understand what we did, because we're kind of throwing curveballs. And this goes back to, it kind of goes into the main topic. Do we want to get into that yet? Or let's just talk about our format. What do we have going on Monday?
Through our blinds and what we actually did and how we did. So, I mean, I can start. I really enjoyed mine, Drew. I think you did a really nice job of picking out some very interesting ones. So I had the battle of the 20 plus years. I had a Johnny Walker Blue. I had an Old Polney 21 and a Tullibardine 25 year. I actually picked the OP 21 as my favorite. That worked out great because I really like OP 21. The Tullibardine was my second favorite, and the Johnny Walker Blue was my third favorite. And I actually picked out the correct, all the questions that you gave me, I was able to pick all the correct stuff. So I was feeling fairly proud of myself. But it's interesting, you go in with a preconceived notion of stuff is 20 years old or more, and it's going to be fantastic. And, they were all very good, but there's definitely differences. You could definitely taste the grain, when you're comparing single malts and blended scotches, you can pick them out fairly easily. But it was, they were all three very nice. I enjoyed all three of them, but it's always an exercise to go into those blinds because you really don't know what's in the bottle. They've all got things that you're trying to pick out. So I find it interesting. I like the way that Aquavite set up his blinds, and I'm glad you did the same thing, Drew, because it kind of takes away the nervousness. It gives you something to focus on, like what the ABV is, or which one's the oldest one, which one's a sherry influenced whiskey. And so it takes some of the nervousness out because you start making choices based on your palate and what you know about whiskey. And it starts to get you a little more comfortable in your skin with all of it. So, I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a fun challenge. I feel pretty good about myself that I nailed them. So
I was just gonna say you did really good. That's why you're up next. You did the best of all. But I think I got to be honest. When I was doing yours, Sean, I had a hard time trying to go. I picked your bottles first, and then I went to try to get the facts, etc. And I had a hard time trying to figure out facts that you wouldn't pick up because I know these pretty well. So I tried to throw you off a little bit, but it didn't. Didn't throw you off. You were on it from the very beginning, so you did really good.
I mean, I was actually, because they are fairly close in ABV, so I was pretty proud that I was able to pick out the 40% ABV one. You know, the sherry influence, you know, which one was the oldest one? I think that was the other question that you gave me. So, you know, it was a fun challenge. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to challenging you next week. So, no, you did good when you did Roy's challenge. I sat right down there on the floor.
Yeah, you watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and you did much better than you thought you were going to. I think when you first got in there, you were just kind of like, you know, you went in with a very, I don't want to say defeatist attitude, but you were just kind of like, you know, I'm just going to do the best I can and see what happens, you know, and you actually did very well. So
that's kind of how it is, though, right? Because I was super nervous, and you nailed it earlier. It's not like you don't know this stuff. It's not like, I mean, we've done it enough that we trust our nose and stuff, but you get confused. And there's this pressure. There's this pressure not to fail and look stupid, right? Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. And you got to get past that and not care. Well, and you know, and that's it.
And I think once they take away, you know, I like the fact of Roy's challenge not being a right or wrong kind of thing. It's just helping you train your palate, letting you figure out what you know about whiskey, what you like about whiskey, without anything else getting in the way. It's just you tasting this glass and seeing if you like it or not, and comparing it to some other whiskeys that might be similar or might not be similar. So, I mean, it's a fun exercise. I think that more people should do it. Usually when you go into a blind, you're like, oh, well, I got to pick out the Glenfiddich out of this lineup of 10 whiskeys, right? And like that's, you know, you're not gonna succeed in that problem.
No.
But you know, having 3 or 4 whiskeys in front of you, tasting them, putting them in order that you like there is no wrong answer, you know. And then you're looking through some characteristics of the whiskeys themselves, and you know, it's all in fun anyway.
It is. But it was what you really like the most. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your palate, it's your nose, it's what, you know, and it really takes, I guess, the beauty behind it really, because if you think about it, and I'll switch to Mark in just a second, have him up and talk about his, because he was second, not third, Andrew. And so it takes the price out of the whole thing, right? Because you had a Johnny Walker Blue, which was a good 200 plus bottle. Yeah. You had the Tullibardine 25-year-old, I think is like a $300 bottle. And then the Old Pult 21. Yep. If you can find it, what, 150?
I bet it's 250.
You think? Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
but you didn't know anything about that. It didn't matter.
No, it was fun. You know, I mean, if you have a chance to do that kind of stuff with people, it's very enjoyable, because usually when you taste flights of whiskeys, if you go to a whiskey expo or something, you know, you're tasting all the whiskeys from a particular distillery. You know which ones they are, and you're listening to somebody tell you what it tastes like, and it totally takes away from your perceptions of what those things are.
Exactly.
So I think this is a good exercise for more people to get involved in.
Well, let's get Mark in here and let him go next. And
I'm reading comments here.
Because, you know, you're second. That's why.
Well, I don't understand. Second, explain that to me, because either they're confused or I'm confused. What do you mean?
Well, second, as far as getting the right amount.
Oh, okay. So I wouldn't even say I was second. I don't know, but I mean, I wouldn't say I was anywhere near it. I actually got thrown. It was tough. It was tough for me because the first one really kind of threw me off. Even reading my notes and knowing what was in the bottle. I mean, you told me what you put in that bottle, and I read my notes and I'm like, that's not, because I have a bottle of that. That is not anything that I smell in that bottle. So something was a miss there, a foot, if you will. But my challenge was called Middle of the Road. And what I had in my samples were a Glen Grant 15, a Dewar's 12, and a Johnny Walker 18. It's not the old 18, it's the new 18. So it's the 18 Ultimate, I believe, is what it's actually called right now. And so when I poured them out, I took the nose and I took some notes on all of them. And you basically asked me, number one, rank them from your favorite to your least favorite. And I do believe that I ranked them 3. I don't even remember now. I'd have to look. Do you remember how I ranked them? I ranked them 3, 1, 2, maybe.
I don't know. Actually, I think I do have my notes up still.
Yeah, I ranked it. So when I ranking them blindly, I ranked the Johnny Walker I liked the best, and then the Glen Grant 15, and then the Dewar's 12.
No,
but
you had them backwards. You had the 18 first, you had the Dewar's second, and you had Glen Grant third.
So it was 3, 2, 1 is the way I ranked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that because of the nose of the Glen Grant. The nose, I literally have written in notes. I'm like, bad nose.
I mean, didn't you say it was peated to or something?
Yes, I said. I mean, it had peat on it, and that Glen Grant 15 does not have peat in it.
No.
So anyway, the second thing that you asked me to do was to find the 15-year-old, find the 18-year-old, and find the 12-year-old. And if you were to see my hand notes, I flipped on it. My very first impression, I had them ranked year-wise one way, and then I flipped right at the last minute. The more time you gave me, the more time my mind was playing on it, and I switched it up, and I got the 18. I got the Johnny Walker right, and I said that the Dewar's was actually 15 years old when in fact it's a 12-year-old, and so right. I flipped that one and Glen Grant. I was really close on my ABVs though. The only one that I was really off on the ABVs was the Glen Grant 15, which is, what's that? That's a 55.
Yeah.
That's kind of a high ABV, and it did not come off high, but that's because it had peat in it, and I think peat masks that to me. So I really thought this one was tough. I mean, it was a butt kicker for me.
You had a tough one. It wasn't easy, and I'll be honest with you. I call it middle of the road because that's kind of what it was. It was like, I could give you really nice sherries. I didn't have some of these other ones open. Like I thought about the cast strength stuff with SMWS, but I'm like, man, that's going to really burn your palate pretty quickly and that stuff. So I was like, you know what? It was kind of a fast thing, and I just grabbed some bottles and thought I'd make it work. So we'll improve on this one, but it was still.
It was fun anyway, Drew. And at the end of the day, it still educates your palate. It educates your nose. I mean, you know, don't feel bad about being wrong. Throw it out there, and then when things are revealed, you learn from this. I mean, and it just makes you appreciate more and better. So honestly, going over it right now with you has already given me a few ideas of the types of questions and challenges I want to put to you guys when it's my turn. And they're not going to be the challenges where it's trying to gotcha. It's going to be really trying to figure out what your palate is good at and what it's not.
Awesome. Yeah. So to answer Tom's question, I purposely did Andrew's stuff last, just to make sure I didn't taint with any peat or smoke. So speaking of Andrew, Mark, thanks.
Bring him in, man. Bring him in.
This is my list.
What you got going on?
And I like cheap whiskey. So I'll say that. So my favorite, so these are the whiskeys that Drew sent me. So we had number one, a Lacheg 18-year-old at $160 a bottle, a Gordon MacPhail Koala, and a Johnny Walker Black. And in my preference, when I tasted them, Johnny Walker, number 2, and then number 1. And the reason I did that is, quite honestly, those blends do a great job of creating a well-balanced whiskey. So what I got out of the Johnny Walker Black was a little bit of smoky, a little bit of funkiness in it, but it's some sweetness and some goodness in it that just, it tasted really nice. When I got up to the 18-year-old Lacheg at 46.3%, it felt young, it felt sharp, it felt, angular. It didn't feel like it didn't taste like a good, well-balanced whiskey. And so, I ordered them in my favorite profile, and then I completely blew up when it came down to, what did I suspect was a smoky blend? What did I suspect was a cast strength? And what did I suspect was an 18-year-old? Completely destroyed it. Wrong in all accounts.
Well, I think, and I haven't watched it too closely. And you kind of did the same thing I did with mine. And I think Roy said that, if I would have listened to myself speak, I would probably have done better on some of these. I think you probably culprit to the same situation. Maybe. You were talking through some of these things, and and that's one thing too, is that, and I'll go ahead and bring you guys all back in for this one. It's one of those things where it's really easy to, when you're doing these blinds, they get confused. really easy, especially when you have 5, like Roy does. We only did 3, but you can really mess yourself up. It's rushed. You don't have a whole lot of time in between. You know, it's good to have water, maybe some coffee beans or something else if you really want to get crazy about it. But it's not easy to do and perform, you know, on time.
Yeah. I mean, I would say with the ones with mine, in hindsight, I can see where each one has their own unique character. Each bottle has a great niche for what it provides. But I guess in general, I like a really good broad whiskey, and you know, I like lots of flavor. I like lots of variability. And if you are a single cask, generally it's harder to create that broad flavor. So a blend, especially a well-done blend like Johnny Black, it has a lot of those sweetness and smoky characters that I like. And so I'm going to say, yeah, I enjoy drinking that.
Well, it was fun, guys. I really enjoyed doing it with you guys and watching you go through this.
Appreciate you, man. I mean, it's a lot of work to put all this stuff together. I'm already realizing as I'm getting ready for next week, because it's not just picking the whiskey. There has to be a guiding principle behind it. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Why are you doing this?
Right.
You know? And then being able to describe that in such a way that I can type it up in very simple instructions and hand it over to you guys to follow along with the program that I'm making. So, I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, it really, really is. So, hats off to you, Drew. I mean, you did 3 different ones. That's even more work than I'm contemplating. So
it was a lot of time and energy up front. I just want to call. I wish I could super chat Scott right now because that's
I know. I'm laughing.
Right.
Yep. I like my whiskey cheap. I agree.
Well,
fun time. But you know, there's one other person that we could talk to tonight about blinds, which didn't participate, but I think maybe he should. Welcome back, long-time listener, first-time caller.
First-time caller. Look at that guy.
Look at that. Look at those. Are those all bottles behind you?
Are those all bottles of whiskey?
He looks like Kelso with a beard.
Look at all those bottles on the wall. Holy cow.
Hey, get the camera closer to the bottles, Mike. We don't want to see you.
It's all bourbon. You don't want to see any of it.
There you go.
Attaboy.
Hey, it must be a Glenmoe night. I'm drinking Glenmoe. I saw Mark pouring some.
I know. I saw that just now.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for that when Mark pulled it up.
It's been a long time, Mike. You know, the one thing that we should note is we did that. What bottle did we do? The Loch Lomond 18.
Yeah, I saw. Did you see? I just finished. I just killed my bottle of that.
Oh, really?
I killed the 99. I killed an 02, and I have this much left of an 04.
Oh,
wow!
You like
Quarantine's hitting you pretty hard, huh, Mike?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh well, that's what they're for, right?
Mike, it's good to see you. You got a lot of people talking about you. It's been a while since you've been on the show. It's good to see you. It sucks that we have to go in quarantine to get you on the show, huh?
Yeah, right. And it sucks. What's been new with you? Obviously, you're still adding bottles to your collection there. You got anything interesting? How's life going on around the corner?
Around the corner. It's going good. I'm getting 3 cubic yards of mulch tomorrow. So that I'm doing the same thing everybody else is doing, is yard work and trying to make the best of it, working around the house and getting some stuff done. I'm lucky enough. I'm one of the lucky ones also that I work from home right now. So,
well, I mean, at least you're working, right? That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But everybody's safe and healthy. I mean,
yeah,
family's good. You guys are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody looking at this?
Oh, what? That's an 18 too, right? Or is that the 20?
18. I was like, I haven't had a pull cork.
You put the cork on that?
Yeah. The cork broke. I didn't break it on purpose.
What bottle is it?
Deanston 18. So now I got to set it over there and do surgery on it after the show.
Yes. That's
I have the same problem with my Deanston 20. I think the Deanston has some issues with corks.
Well, either that or the whiskey just dries up on that cork and makes it sticky. So when you go to twist it off, the cork breaks.
It's all that.
I have to be,
Maybe
I have to be
we'll-
honest,
Right,
Sean.
that could be the problem.
I'm disappointed, Sean. That's not the Sean I remember. The Sean I know would just push the cork through and pour himself a dram and deal with that later.
I mean,
No.
Yeah,
I
you-
remember with the
what
Andrew.
are you doing to me?
Hold me that whiskey.
I'm not going to do that if I can get the cork out, man. Come on.
Even
Get
Lee
yourself a
agrees.
decanter.
Bullshit.
they worry about the whiskey, not the corks. Who cares?
Right? All right. Well,
Oh, shit. Yeah, corkscrew. Travis Faircloth says corkscrew.
I got a corkscrew, but I'm not going to do surgery on it while I'm on the show.
No.
I'll just drink this Benriach instead.
Oh, shit.
I know the cork's coming out of that one.
Because it's loose.
No.
Hey, Sean, Hoagie says, stop whining, Sean, and handle business.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm not whining. I'm just sad that I couldn't get one right now. I'm going to get one later. Don't get me wrong.
So why don't we move forward a little bit in the show, gentlemen? Let's talk about Mike. And I, by the way, I just heard from a little birdie. We're going to have another guest here in a little while. So let's talk about the other stuff in a little bit. Let's bring Dr. Scotch in and see if he can help us out with some stuff. What do you think? Hold on, I think he's over here.
help us.
Go grab him.
that's over there.
They call him Dr. Scotch.
Doctor?
Are you singing now, Sean?
You want me to?
Yeah.
We don't have video for the intro.
You do.
Black guy in a little coat. Black guy in a little coat.
Do it.
Richard.
Go.
That's awesome.
Are you going to talk to us, Dr. Scotch?
That's right. So Dr. Scotch here. I'm a doctor on YouTube, not on TV.
Something
I'm
like
going to
that.
talk about particles in Scotch, how they affect
What are
the
you-
Scotch
What are you
velocity,
going to talk about today?
the speed, and the angle of which it flies off the shelf. And we're going to talk about the nose and how to smell.
Are we?
No.
What's our actual topic, Andrew?
So I think a good Dr. Scotch topic would be a top German doctor recommends whiskey to protect against COVID-19.
What the what?
We've got that.
So you've seen, obviously through a lot of information that the higher the alcohol content, the better chance you have of preventing COVID-19 or killing I'll say deactivating the virus. So viruses aren't alive. They're like a protein shell or a lipid shell surrounded by RNA. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to break that lipid layer. And to break that lipid layer to deactivate the virus, alcohol is one of the best compounds you can do to do that. But so the German doctor says, and I'm going to read through his. I don't know if Drew can put it online or put it on the screen or not. But yet, say yes, of course that's true. The higher the percentage of alcohol, the better it is. For example, if you are a whiskey lover, then that certainly isn't a bad idea. But of course, you need to bear in mind that you can't do that every 15 minutes. So the problem is with alcohol. So if you drink alcohol, the high, 60% ABV is what they've shown will really break down the lipid layer that surrounds the virus and will deactivate it. But you have to essentially drink 60% ABV every 15 minutes while you're out in public to prevent the virus from kind of being able to infect you. So it's kind of not a good tool to be able to use, but it does work. And so that's why a lot of distilleries in the Indianapolis area and others have started putting out their own versions of hand sanitizer, because they're distilling the material anyway and creating upwards of 90-95% ABV ethanol. What they do is that then they add those to like aloe and other compounds they'll kind of soften it and not be as harsh on your skin. And they put those in hand sanitizer bottles. And what it does is that the greater than 60% ABV will deactivate the virus that's on your hands or whatever surfaces you rub your hands on. So the key is high ABV is good, but high ABV is not good for like functioning in society. So the rest of you guys,
Look,
you can't
right now
drink
everybody's
away.
being told they have to stay at home anyway. What's wrong with that in functioning society? I mean, come on.
Nothing.
15 minutes, you know what? I'm just going to pull my kilt down and man down and keep going. I got this. And I got plenty of high proof Scotch. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm staying healthy.
So Catherine is right. Just keep alcohol in your mouth at all times.
I think this guy right here might know something about drinking Scotch.
He knows a little bit.
Oh man.
Look at that.
So
Look at
guess
that.
who else was just sitting around not doing anything?
How you doing, Scott? Good to see you.
All right, what's going on, guys?
Good to see
We
you,
got
brother.
Mike had a bar behind him. Look at Scott.
I thought that was
Yeah.
I thought that was a young Mark Hamill that joined you guys a little bit ago there with the beard and the 70s part right down the middle.
Hey, I'm bringing back the feather, man.
I'm helping you with the mullet.
You know what?
Who knows
So-
what it's going to look like in 5 weeks?
So, Mike, your whiskey collection looks great behind you, but I gotta say, Scott, in the last couple of years, yours has you planted some seeds, and you are returning gains, brother. I mean, I want some of those seeds because your Scotch garden is growing like weeds, man.
Yeah, I know it. I'll tell you what, I've been on since the we haven't necessarily been on lockdown here. There's been a recommended stay-at-home order. 3 weeks ago, I've been working from home since, and I've kind of been on like a heel slayer bottle kill mission. It's like time to get rid of a lot of those, little ones that are left.
I feel
I've got 7 bottles sitting here. I was planning on do a post at some time and just, challenge everybody, just say, post what bottles have you killed, during the shutdowns.
Oh, we should have you and Sean meet up to do some virtual zebra hunter videos and kill it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! Yeah.
I
You
have
got some-
4 or 5 bottles in my trash can. I just took them up to the recycling bin a couple days ago. But yeah, I've killed a few, and that's been my whole point. I'm sitting down here and I'm like, well, these jackasses aren't ever going to finish anything. Let me take care of this for them. I'm clearing some space out because I know when it's over, we're going to fill it right back up. So
Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know why we call him the zebra hunter, because he just drinks all our stuff we won't drink.
and I'm not letting them pour it in a infinity bottle either. I want to just finish it
True.
off and move on.
That was a mistake. Yeah.
That's true. He won't let us do that.
Hey, you guys were just talking Deanston, though, a few minutes ago before I came in, and this is one I picked up. It's a 16-year Deanston Organic Oloroso,
Nice.
and I found it in Dallas, 50.6%, and it's a gorgeous whiskey. It's very nice. Well, manifesting what I believe Deanston has and has been doing.
Well, hang on a second. Put it back up to the camera, Drew. Put him full screen so we can see that label.
All right, hold on. It's gonna take
Like
a second.
2002.
Yeah, it's a 16-year. It's bottled in 2018. Organic Oloroso. 50.6% ABV.
You know, one thing that I can say is, I mean, I understand their consistent marketing and labeling, but that it's a little confusing because that bottle from the size of the picture I see right now, it looks like their typical, Deanston, what is it, 12? I mean, heck, I got a bottle.
Virgin Oak.
You mean the Virgin Oak?
Yeah, the
Virgin
Virgin
Oak.
Oak.
Let's hit
Yeah,
Virgin Oak.
A lot of those Deanstons, they have that one, the organic. They have a few of those. Look
Yeah.
pretty similar to that white label. Yeah.
I mean, it looked, that's what I thought you had, Scott. That's why I wanted to see it.
Yeah, you got one too. Yeah.
So, in other words, my lesson that I just learned is when I see a Deanston on the shelf in a liquor store, pay close attention to what's on that label and don't just walk by it thinking it's,
Yeah. Yeah, and really that's what I did. It was kind of a second glance on this one that caught my eye with it. And I think it was $105, which I didn't think was bad for a 16, when I got to looking at it, 16-year, 50%er
right.
Oloroso cask Deanston. So not disappointed in it at all.
You know who you're disappointing in it? Drew.
No, I'm just thinking about how far the place is for mine, and
Drew's drooling.
I know we switched positions because you messed something up.
What are
Totally
you doing? How did this
pointing
happen?
at Sean.
What am I doing? I'm fixing.
Fixing his Dingston.
That
Yeah.
looks like a.
All right.
Is that a beer glass?
You vat?
Yeah.
He's doing his own vatting.
Holy shit!
All right. Well, here's the issue that I just had.
That's a big
Okay,
glass.
chug.
So
Chug. Chug.
the cork was broken and it was a little crumbly. And I'm pretty good at getting corks out with a corkscrew because I've worked in restaurants my entire life. But that cork was so dry that when I started pulling it out, the cork itself just crumbled apart.
Oof.
So I don't want to leave that cork in the whiskey for obvious reasons. So I poured it out, and the cork is going to float on the top of the whiskey, and I'm going to pull out the little pieces, and then I'm going to pour it back in the bottle, maybe.
What did
Maybe.
you think from that? The
You know,
straw.
a backup cork.
You got to get yourself a decanter, man.
I'd still have to pick the pieces out.
It's a backup cork, though. That's good.
All right, guys, let's move on. So let's talk about, Mark, you had an agenda for,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
Scott,
yeah, so the main topic of the night that I thought would be fun to talk about, it's very relevant to our situation, to everyone's situation, is, and I don't know if this is a great title for it, but it was quarantine habits. And basically what I wanted to focus on is how is everyone doing things differently? Are you drinking differently? Are you drinking more? How are you acquiring your whiskey? Are you even allowed to go into your liquor store, your local anymore? How is it affecting, those kinds of habits? And since we've got some guests, it even can be split into two different categories. For our subscribers, our viewers, our social drinkers, that's one thing. How's it affecting, whiskey tubers? Scott, what's this doing to your channel? How is this affecting you from that angle? Because I got to be honest, I'm probably, I don't know if I'm drinking more or less personally, but I was kind of already ordering more whiskey online than I was buying it locally anyway prior to this happening. But I'm really curious to see how everybody else is dealing, because this week in Indiana anyway, I think on Tuesday there was another, creed from the governor changing things. And basically now you're not even allowed to go into liquor stores. You have to either call from the parking lot and pay over the phone, or do an online order and they bring it to your car. And no cash. It's all, credit card ordering. So I don't know how it is in every other state, but that does change things.
Yeah, I mean that's I've probably spent a lot less money the last few weeks because I haven't done as much shopping. Now, generally every weekend I'll go. I can't hit different parts of town, different liquor stores on my route. That I might. But even my usual liquor store that I'm in once or twice a week, I mean, I go in there just to shop, look at the shelves, and see if anything new came in or anything like that. So if you have to call and order something, I mean, you're just not getting that experience of,
True.
Of seeing everything, or just maybe missing a bottle that's not necessarily allocated, but maybe it's just a new, the Knob Creek 12 year that come out or something like that. But online, actually several international sites have shut down shipping because of COVID. And so one site I do order from, Whiskey Site in the Netherlands, they're not shipping to anywhere right now because of it.
Let me tell you, I've got an update on that. I actually ordered some of those Adelphis, the Tinanik and Ben Rennis, back in mid-March, like March 20th, 18th, somewhere around there. And the status on DHL Germany, DHL.DL, has been stuck in the same status since the 25th of March. And I've been emailing Whiskey Site asking them to follow up. And lo and behold, at 6:19 this evening, I got a text message from the USPS saying that it had cleared customs and now it's in their possession in Chicago. But yet, even after I got that update, I went to DHL.DL and checked it, and the status still hasn't changed. And the latest status is March 25th. So things are definitely slowing down and there's a grinding halt when it comes to international shipping. And so that sucks, because that's where I've been getting most of my whiskey over the last 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, you can get so many good deals and stuff on bottles from there. You know, they're 700 milliliters. It's a little less than 2 ounces per bottle. You know, one example I give people is like the Glendronach 21, the Parliament. I've ordered
2 bottles of it because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've ordered it for like $110, $120 a bottle.
Yeah,
Which is, I mean, it's $250 in the States. And I mean, you're getting 2 ounces less, but it's
Big
for the
deal.
prices of the bottles, you can't beat it.
Yep. And I've actually told that to several people, that and the 18 that have, you know, they've discovered that bottle and they're like, oh, I just love this whiskey, but it's $250. And I'm like, that's why you need to order it from overseas. You can get 2 bottles for that.
Yeah.
So it's a great deal, but the international shipping
Let's
is
order
different.
some
So,
more.
yeah, like what Drew, have you caught up on the comments? I'm really curious to see what some of the people that are on the show that are watching, what this has done to their, you know, their habits. Are they buying more, drinking more? You know, you see everything on Facebook, you guys, and of course there's always memes and jokes about, you know, everybody's working from home now, so what's that mean? You know, 10 glasses of wine before lunch, but in the reality of it, I don't know. How are you guys dealing with this?
Yeah, I'll post some comments here. SoCal Dram is talking about Total Wine still lets us in, but it's limits on how many people can go in. Drinking, Cool Blunt says drinking in the wee hours. See, Catherine said, and Pennsylvania liquor stores are closed. The website's officially open, but always down, and we can get shipments. And Everwin, I think his is pretty good. Is drinking at 10 a.m. and watching YouTube videos and whiskey reviews a new norm?
See,
Pretty much.
I thought I saw something that Pennsylvania had closed all their liquor stores and then they reopened online after, I don't know, a few days or a week, and it crashed the site because so many people tried to order their booze. Which,
I think
you
that's
know,
what you just said.
if you're stuck at home, what else are you going to do? I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of curious, and I did reach out to a couple of my reps in restaurants on the liquor side, just because I was curious. You know, liquor stores are still open, but there's not much to do as far as sell the liquor stores. Those guys just order what they order, and you know, it is what it is. But they've lost a lot of their business, so I'm wondering if they're not bringing in, you know, certain like hard to find bottles or allocated stuff. If liquor stores are declining in sales, if they're not letting people in, I'd be curious to know, you know, who's buying what. Are you getting mostly people just coming in to buy in quantity and call it a day? Or are you getting people that are just bored coming in and want to, you know, kind of shop the shelves if they've got a chance to do it?
So I hold on a second, Mark. So Bob made a comment, and I thought it really resonated. Drinking more from what I have in stock, and I can say honestly that I'm drinking more than I should probably, but obviously I'm drinking my stuff. And one of the things I miss most is just being able to have more social aspects with you guys, to bring stuff over, to share things. I know a big part of whiskey is sharing what we have, and I think that's probably been hurt a little bit, and we're feeling it more at home. And we're also probably either, depending on your bar, like if I was at Scott's bar, I would never be this way. I'd be always happy because there's always plenty of stuff to drink. But for most people, they're probably looking at their stuff going, man, so I can't get to the liquor store, or I'll just keep drinking this one. I think that's all I can do. Maybe you drink more of it because it's all you have, versus before, maybe you don't drink as much because you're a little bit more selective about what you have, or you're getting a blind from somebody else, or you know what I'm saying. It's something about the whole whiskey sharing thing is definitely feeling a little bit of a tight grip right now, I think.
well, so Everwin made a comment that goes with what you're saying. He said, seriously, to answer the question, he's reluctant to drink from a low bottle since he can't easily replace it now.
Right.
And, you know, I get it. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I guess I would still be okay to kill that bottle if I know it's going to be around when I can buy them. You know, if it's a typical label that you know you're going to find, that's a different story. But,
I've got a lot of comments about people drinking stuff because they are stuck at home. And so they're opening up that bottle that they've been saving, or, you know, that they haven't opened up for a while just because they're bored and they're having a taste of it. So
right.
that might be a response as well.
I don't know if this is any indication of it, and this is a good segue into the other portion, the other side of this conversation. But I had a chat with Ben Dietrich from SMWS earlier this week. You know, they released their April outturn, and they had a Glenfarclas in that outturn, a 1.215, I think it was. Those 60 bottles disappeared in under 12 minutes. So I had called him to see if I might be able to squeeze one out before they were gone, and we got to talking. And he said that they can't keep whiskey right now. SMWS is, I mean, go to their website. They're out of stock is the new norm there right now. And he's like, that's a good problem and it's a bad problem. It's great because it shows that they're popular and members are really engaged, but it's a bad problem for members when you go and you see out of stock, you know? So is that indicative of people being stuck at home right now and just not being able to get whiskey other places? So I'm just going to go and, you know, I know it's going to be good. I normally might not probably buy 3 bottles from them in a month, but I can't even go to the liquor store. So why not? I don't know.
Well, I thought this was interesting. I'll shut up. It says, I got a text that says U.S. alcohol sales increased 55% in 1 week because of the coronavirus pandemic. I probably believe that based on our conversation.
That's piss poor planning right there is what that is.
Right. But so the other half of the conversation I was going to say is, how does this change? And I'm curious to hear a little bit from you, Scott, because I know the 4 of us have chatted offline about it, but how does this change the perspective from the industry? So, you know, the ambassadors and the distilleries and the marketing piece, you know, all of these whiskey fests where most of your ambassadors are traveling across the country to do events, they can't do that right now. So have you guys, you know, have you personally gotten emails from some of these ambassadors saying, hey, I'd love to get on the show? Because there's a hell of a lot more noise out there.
That's happening so much, and I think it's going to help. It's going to help us. It's going to help YouTubers because there's so many ambassadors. There's so many distilleries that are now being forced to work from home. They've resorted to live streaming themselves. Number one is Tomatin, which selfless plug here. They invited us on tomorrow. Scott Adamson is doing shows every Friday. Yeah. That's one thing he said, once we were forced to work from home, he goes, I had to look for work. Basically, how do I still do my job? So he started live streaming, but he put together on Tomatin's channel, and it took some doing on his part last weekend that Roy ran Aqua Vitae. Yeah. It was a whiskey fest. They brought together 12 or 15 distilleries.
Right.
On Tomatin's channel. And they said that they're not used to doing that. They're not used to collaborating. I mean, it's us versus them mentality in the whiskey world.
Right.
You know, us YouTubers, we get together and collaborate. And I mean, there's strength in numbers. And, you know, we talk about each other and we do live streams with each other and we watch each other. And I think some distilleries are going to learn that now. Some will, some won't. But another one is Dalmore reached out to us, some of the U.S. ambassadors, and wanted to do a live stream just like you brought up.
I got a call with him tomorrow.
What?
I said I have a call with him tomorrow.
Yeah. We're doing a live stream with Dalmore tomorrow night. Of course, it's a charity, though, we're doing as well to raise money for the America's Nurses Association.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, he reached out to us last week or a little. Sean made a point. He made a good comment before the show started. Is a lot of these ambassadors or distilleries, they didn't have the platform when this hit. So now they're all scrambling, going, how do I do my work, like you said? And they've discovered, okay, so I need to get out there online. That's my only outlet. Damn, I don't have any platform to do that from. But wait a minute, all these YouTube channels that have been doing this for 5+ years, they do have the platform. They do have a base. I'll reach out to them. And it is kind of funny that they're emailing us now instead of us emailing with them.
Yeah.
Well, last weekend was I think I guess kind of an epiphany of the whole idea of what we've been doing for years, Scott, and talking about how, you know, times are changing for the whiskey industry, et cetera. And it's sad that this stupid virus kind of kicked it into gear, but that's kind of what happened last weekend. And to your point, I think that, you know, it's kind of nice to finally be there with them when they're coming out and realizing that this is a huge platform that not only you, but Aquavite, us, many others have been doing for years. And it's not just about us doing ourselves. It's about just showing our passion for why we do it. Because let's be honest, none of us make money off of this. It's because we like doing it. And I think they're finally realizing that too. It's not just about marketing.
Yeah. And you do a live stream and you bring in, say you average 100 people, on a live stream. How much work did that take, compared for them putting together a weekend, at the Marriott with a master class tasting?
Oh my gosh.
And they bring in 20 people. How much did that cost compared to, a live stream virtual tasting?
Well, and it's not just the ones that watch it while it's live. Tomorrow we'll have 600 or 700 people that have watched this show.
Yeah,
exactly.
Podcast or however else we put it out there. So they're getting residual traffic off that forever. That's got to be money well spent.
Yeah. And I think they're seeing that. Hopefully it parlays, into the future. Hopefully they don't go back to work and then forget all this.
Yeah.
So you're right.
Hey guys, real quick. We got a super chat. Let me scroll back up. I lost it.
Wow, that's a big one.
Microsoft Guru. Dang, look at that one.
Dang. COVID for dummies. Drink up.
Bro. Stay safe, man. Hope you're not traveling anywhere.
Hey, man, I haven't seen that guy in a minute. How are you?
It has been a while.
Good to see you, Guru.
All right. I'm going to sample some of this Deanston since I rescued Bob.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So let's pitch it over the mic for a second. Let me have the mic for a sec.
Yeah.
So what did you pull out there a minute ago? That looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, you had some of it.
I did. It was
Yes,
good.
you did. It's
Over.
what?
When you come over to your house.
That compass box?
Missed
It is a compass box.
Turn it to the side for a second. Is it almost gone? Oh, okay. Well, you put a dent in that thing.
Yeah.
Which
Kind
one
of
is
what
it, Mike?
It's a
Guess which one. Come on. Scott knows which one.
I can't see.
Well, actually, I know that's not the 3. It's the 1 or the 2. Myths and legends. I can tell you that
Yeah.
much. Is it the 1 or the 2?
It's the one.
1.
It's the okay.
What distillery, Scott?
Oh, shoot. I don't remember that. Is that Glen Elgin?
Come on.
I don't know.
You don't know me better than that.
Ball Blair.
This is the Ball Blair one.
Hey, Mark, look at that. It's Ashley. Good to see you, Ashley. Thanks for jumping in.
Is it?
Yeah.
I gotta go see her.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I liked it. It reminded me of Ball Blair because it was. I mean, when you tell me what it was.
It's still got the strong, Ball Blair, flavors and smell, and my neighbor picked it up like right away when I gave him some.
Yeah.
When we opened it, and I didn't tell him. So, but it kind of goes with what you guys were talking about earlier. One, you're opening bottles that you typically wouldn't have opened in the first place. Number 2, you're kind of. I look every night. I look at my stash. I'm like, well, that one's low, and I'm like, I might as well just finish it, So I've probably killed 7 bottles that I didn't think I was going to kill, and one of them, like on our other meeting that we just had, I did an O2. I finished my O2, finished 99, and I'm about to finish 04, and then
Oh, cow.
my 05's empty, and my 03's probably got about 3 more hits from it. So,
What? Yours sounds like the last entry in a desperation log of a survivor, right? Like, I'm down to my last bottle of Ball Blair. Morale is low.
But
Morale is low.
it's like, and then it's like Scott was saying, when we're going to how the liquor stores now don't let you go in. Yeah, so you're not looking. You can't find like when I went down to the Party Source. I had no idea when I got my bottle of 99. I had no idea it was sitting on their shelf. It wasn't on their website. That's the thing. Not their entire stock is not on the website, so you have no clue.
Yep.
So that's where you run into a lot of problems, like Scott was saying.
It's kind of the lure of it too, though, right? Kind of what we call dusty hunting or whatever. Just see what's out there. Hey guys, real quick, we got a couple super chats. One is DB She. Microsoft Guru set the bar pretty high. This is just a 20% tip. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, D.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you.
I'd like to call out SoCal Tram. It's been too long without a shot of White Walker, just saying. In all seriousness, cheers for always doing it, fellas. You know what? I think he's right. Scott, since you're always the one that instigates it, and you're part of the show right now.
You gotta have White Walker.
I know you have a White Walker back there.
Am I getting some of that money?
No.
I'll send it over to you.
Hey, check's in the mail, buddy.
Shot of White Walker.
I don't have White Walker. Let me. What's the?
I'm calling total BS on that.
No, I don't. I gave it to Bart. Bart's like, Bart drinks whatever. I mean, he's like, what's that old commercial? Mikey likes it. Mikey eats it.
Life cereal.
Yeah, life cereal. That was it.
Yeah. Was that Myths and Legend #1? Did you just
Yes.
open?
Yeah, I did pour it. Very nice. Yep, I poured a little bit of that.
Oh yeah.
Man.
You were the first review, Scott, that I watched on it.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, and that went on Patreon for a while first before I released it on YouTube.
I don't think I've even tasted that yet.
SoCal Dram
How
says
about-
he'll
how
send you
about Red
$5
Label?
on
How about
the next
Red
live
Label?
show, Scott.
Do what?
SoCal said he'll send you $5 on your next live show.
I got Red Label.
That's getting off easy.
Red Label's easy, yeah. It's not nearly as bad as White Walker.
Hey, Mark, while he's doing that, check that out.
Don't you have a CVS bottle or something?
Hey, Alejandro, so thank you for 10,000, man. That was
huge.
We mentioned it on Monday. We haven't mentioned it tonight, but maybe we didn't get our typical Thursday night show viewers from Monday. But so on Monday, we finally crossed the 10,000 subscriber mark, and thank you, Alejandro, for recognizing that. It's a feat I don't think we expected when we started, but
No way.
we're still
We're
going
going to be
now.
done with this in a
We got
year.
our official paper play button.
Yeah. And here we are, 10,000 subscribers later. So thank you. Cheers to you, Alejandro.
So what you got going on there, Scott?
Okay, so what is this, Thursday night? Yesterday, we released our review of Sierra Norte Oaxacan Mexican whiskey.
Say that again.
It's in the video, I call it Oaxacan.
Tequila?
It's Oaxacan is how it's pronounced. Bart, which is better than Bart, he called it Oaxacan.
Close enough.
And his wife is Puerto Rican. He's supposed to be worldly. But so they have 3 versions. There's a white corn, a yellow corn, and a black corn. The black corn is not good. Do not buy the black corn. It's
An acquired taste.
feet and ass.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, it's in it now. I mean, I imagine some people are kind of like,
Feet and ass.
Toe jam and swine. All right.
so
Everybody funk, is it?
I had about what is this, 30 an ounce sample, and I'd probably taken 2 sips out of it. So this is the rest of it.
Wow.
Just shoot it.
It's not. Yep. It's not good.
Just shoot
Wow.
it.
Have
It's not
White Walker
good.
with you then, Scott.
I would take White Walker over this one.
Hell.
Oh, you lost.
Ready?
It's
No one talks,
basically
no one
dog
actually
piss.
drinks
All
that.
right. So the other 3 have to shoot something. What do you guys got that's bad?
Sean took a hit of it. I'd say
No
Sean.
phone bad.
All right.
I don't have bad whiskey.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's why he won't let us in his basement.
That's true.
How about some screwball?
There still, Andrew, I'm sure.
You've got a plastic handle. Come on, man.
I'm trying to find what I have.
So tell me more about that, Scott. It's a black corn Mexican
Yeah, so it's made in Oaxaca, Mexico. Locally sourced corns, and they separate them: white corn, yellow corn, black corn. And actually, I heard there's a purple corn one. We didn't have the purple corn, but we did buy the white corn, the yellow corn, and the black corn bottles. White corn and the yellow corn were pretty good. I like them. The black corn was just too moldy, really kind of that White Walker moldy.
Interesting.
So Scott, we had some blue corn whiskey at Widow Jane, and they didn't sell a lot of that because they thought that there's lots of oils in those darker corns, and they can burn. They can burn in the stills, and so they create that funky off flavor because there's so much extra oil in there. And so that would make sense that the black and probably the blue corn really isn't as clean and flavorful as some of the other ones.
Yeah, could be even Iron Root down in Texas. They're doing a lot with different corns, and they're using some of the what they call the Bloody Butcher corn, which is a red corn, maybe a purplish type corn. But I think a lot of their stuff though is just, I don't know that they're using. Well, they might use a little bit of black corn. I'd have to see, but
yeah, Widow Jane does some the red corn as well.
I think it's interesting. Some of these smaller distilleries are using a lot of, they're experimenting with a lot of different grains and a lot of heirloom varieties to see what kind of flavors they can pull out, which I think is really cool, actually.
But I have to admit, there's a reason after centuries people stick with barley and yellow corn, and because it creates a cleaner whiskey.
Yeah, but there's definitely flavor varieties that I think that you get using those heirloom varieties if you're careful about it.
If you're careful, you got to be careful with them. Yeah.
But some of that stuff nobody has really distilled with before, so you kind of have to do a batch of it to see what kind of flavor profile you're going to get before you could blend it down into something else.
Yeah, or if they have distilled with it, they've like discarded it, or they've been very careful with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are about as bad as I got. I got an old Dewar's white label and some crappy J&B. This isn't an old J&B. This is really it, guys. I mean,
the J&B is bad.
I've got this awful Middleton that I could drink, or perhaps this 25-year-old Bunnahabhain.
I'm not touching my wife's Irish whiskey. No.
Well, you know what? That would be punishment, because I know your wife would punish you for drinking.
Exactly. I'm not taking a freaking foot in the ass for.
My wife, no one here will tell you.
You would know.
He's got the bottles marked. No,
she's watching live, so she's not going to know.
My wife has been drinking Irish whiskey too. She didn't like whiskey until it was last year sometime, and she finally because I'd always be sitting around. I'd be like, "Well, here, try this one," and one night I gave her Redbreast Lustau, and there's a couple nights later she goes, "Hey, let me have some more of that whiskey you gave me the other night." And I was like, "What? Really?" So yeah, my money spent on Irish whiskey has quadrupled in the last year. In fact, there's 7 bottles of different Redbreasts en route here now from California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if your wife is drinking Redbreast, check out. There's a couple liquor stores. If you do Wine Searcher, look up Redbreast and hit a couple of the California stores. I mean, I'm getting it shipped here way cheaper than I can buy it here.
Wow,
really?
Wow.
So Glendale Liquors is one, and recently ordered from Remedy Liquors. Remedy Liquors has been the cheapest by far, but
I've looked at them.
I like Redbreast. That's good stuff.
I've looked at Remedy before.
The case of be careful what you wish for, Scott.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, she's got a pretty good little selection of Irish whiskeys. I know, talking about Irish whiskeys, though, there's somebody that's on the channel tonight that's drinking a hell of an Irish whiskey. See, and he even mentions it in the comment.
I know.
Gift your wife a
Wow.
20 Dude, she'd be mad that I spent that much money on a whiskey. Are you kidding me, man? That's a salty bottle, man.
Don't tell her how much you spent.
My favorite is probably my wife's is Redbreast 15.
Yeah,
Really?
that one.
Yeah.
I went through that bottle pretty quick.
Yeah.
When I had
I
mine.
guess that's the next one I got to get for. So I've got she has the 12 and the 21, and so I bought her the 12 cask strength so she could compare that a little bit. But she really doesn't like cask strength whiskey. So I mean, obviously she's got Middleton's, Jameson's, the green, yellow, red spot, stuff like that. But we do have a bottle of LaSalle on the bar now too. But the 15, obviously, that's why I'm going to find the 15 on one of those.
The Remedy has it right now for $67.
Wow.
Dude, that is cheap.
Yeah, because it's $110 a bottle here.
Well, speaking of Remedy, looks like SoCal got himself a bottle of Deanston 20. Wow.
From Remedy?
Remedy.
Yeah,
That seems like a good price, man.
I think
Yeah,
so too.
All right, we will expect a commission from Remedy next week sometime. People say, hey,
SoCal, that's nice of you to share that information, but you should have never done that.
you will
Because
never
if
get
there's any left, it's gone now. I promise you.
Yep.
That's
Be
all right.
careful the cork.
But no, I'll tell you, my wife though, Mark, she loves the higher ABV stuff. I poured her Jameson 18 a couple of weeks ago, and it's 40%. And I gave it to her, and she goes, "Did you water this down?" She'll drink Redbreast 12 cask strength neat without any.
I like the cast strength better, actually. I do.
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
it's funny.
yes,
You should.
yes,
What was the
watered it down.
response to her? Did you just respond, "I love you"? Is that-
Yeah.
You should just tell her that bottle will last longer if you do that.
I messed with her. We were just sitting there last night, and she had she'd poured some Red Spot. So she's sitting there drinking Red Spot,
15.
and she got me a Bunnahaven Amontillado cask from the distillery. It's like 57% ABV. So I'm sitting there, and she sees me pouring, and I was like, "What do you have? Let me taste yours." And it was red. It was. She tells me what it is, so I taste it and I put it back. Well, I grabbed my Amontillado. I'm just adding just a little bit of water in it, And she goes, "Are you putting water in my whiskey?" And I go, "Yeah." And I poured just a little bit more in there, and she just had this god awful look, like she was ready to kill me.
Someone's getting a throat punch.
Yeah. I'm like, and then I go, "No, this is mine. Yours is sitting right there." And she's like, "Oh my God, I was gonna slap you upside the head."
Wow.
Yeah. But it's just really, it's 95% is Irish whiskey, is a single pot still Irish whiskey, and it, for the most part, 12 years old or older. And her palate, I mean, she can tell if it's not good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my wife happens to like the expensive ones the most.
That's the first thing you learn.
Yeah. But that's all right. She doesn't drink it nearly as much or as often as I do. So, I mean, honestly, she's got a whole shelf of Irish up there, and it just basically sits there. And the funny thing is when these guys do come over, they don't touch it because
Hell no.
Because we know better.
yeah, but whatever.
I know who
That's the white whiskey. You don't touch that.
Nope.
So to further along, I don't know if we're willing to go over since we already are.
Yeah, I just posted no after show tonight, so we're gonna go over tonight.
Okay, good. I actually found since there's not much Scotch in the news, to be quite honest with you guys. We haven't really done a formal Scotch in the news in a while, but I did find an interesting article that I wanted to kind of bring up, and maybe we can go around the horn and get everyone's take on it. It was an article that was written. Basically, the title is "Bartenders Tell Us What's the One Scotch They Brought Home for the Quarantine." Mm-hmm. So it doesn't apply to us because we all have a selection behind us. But okay, so if you guys had to pick one that you were going to be stuck with for the next 5 weeks, what one would you bring? So I'll start it off with a couple of the bartenders' comments here. One bartender said Colila 12. Okay. Another one said Lagavulin 8. All right, I can respect that. So far, there's a little bit of a theme here. Somebody said McKellen Rare Cask. And that one, I was like, all right, that's a little bit of a saltier price point. And
that's not on every bar out there either. So.
And it depends on which Rare Cask you're talking about, what release of it. Because Yeah. Glenmorangie Nectador. Balvenie 12 Doublewood, and I was like, okay, so there's a little bit of a selection here. Yeah. So let's go around the horn here and say, Drew, we'll start. You're up in the upper left corner, trying to do this. How can I do this? I can't. I suck at this.
Yeah,
you're way up there. what's your bottle? Quarantine, 5 weeks. You're stuck. You don't have a selection. You get to pick one to take home with you. What are you taking?
That's a really hard question. I guess right now, I'm kind of back to my roots. You're gonna laugh about this one, but that gift from the boys for my birthday, that Balvenie 14, is hitting the spot right now really well.
Wow.
And
Caribbean cat.
in that, it's just a solid dram. I mean, it's not too expensive. You know, it's right up there. It's a 14-year rum cask. It's got enough flavor to it. It's got enough of what you love in Scotch.
Wow.
It's kind of like the meat and potatoes, right? It's right there in the middle. It's going to fill you up. It's going to get a good taste to it. It's just great. I'm kind of back to my roots. I like going to the sherry bombs, and I like grabbing some SMWS cask strengths, and every once in a while a little, maybe peaty stuff. So if you're talking about moods, different tastes. But if you're talking about something I'm going to just go to and like, you know what, I'm really liking that right now, it's going to be my Balvenie 14.
Good for you. That's that's a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought you were just going to go to like an Old Faithful Deanston 20 or something, which isn't really fair because even though SoCal just found one, it's not like you can go find those anywhere else. But Balvenie 14 is a really good pick, and it's a good pick. It fits you. I'm good with that. What do you think, Andrew?
I'm going to go for Lagavulin 16. I've said this for a long time now, that it is really for me, the perfect balance between smoky and sweet.
Okay.
The earthy peat is really so much better for me than like the Floyd, where it can be kind of charcoal and ashy. It's just so much earthy. It just balances better. And so I could drink that all day long. I mean, and if you use a cigar with it, it's sweeter. If you drink it neat, it's smoky. It's a really good whiskey, and that would be my, like, on a deserted island. That's what I would use.
I just poured one. You just inspired me.
Good idea.
Serendipity. All right, let's keep going. Scott, you're next on my view screen here.
Not too long ago, I would have told you Macallan 12 I'd just grab, and that would kind of be my daily pick. But I've switched. Yep. I think Bunnahabhain is now my favorite distillery, and I'd have to go with Bunnahabhain 18.
Really?
That's a good bottle too, yeah.
Why would you pick that?
It brings that Bunnahabhain unpeated Isla characteristic. It's kind of got some maritime sea saltiness to it. Mm-hmm. It's not peated, so I think that unsalted or that kind of salty, unpeated barley characteristic in its sherry cask, and it's just a nice influence, and it's just delicious. I love it.
Yep.
I picked out. My wife comes down and she pours me something blind. She'll just come get me a drink, and that Bunnahabhain Amontillado she poured me last night was blind. She just brought it up to me, and it took me about 3 sips. But I go, "This is one of my Bunnahabhains. Could be the 18, but the ABV is higher."
Nice.
I could tell.
Let me ask you a question in regards to that. Bob H., one of our East Coast guys out there, been with the show a while. They changed their labeling, Bunnahabhain 18, right? Yeah. So there's an old bottling and there's a new bottling. Have you done a side-by-side comparison? And if you have you found a difference?
I have not. And I've actually heard that the new Bunnahabhain 18 is lightly peated from some people. So I have not tried it. But in my journey now where I'm at, it used to be I wouldn't have wanted the peat. But I like stuff even with maybe just a slight bit of peat into it, especially if it's got some sherry influence as well. That's good stuff.
So you're not veering far from your sherry root. That's your foundation.
Yeah.
But you're finding like a little peat sprinkled in now.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I've got one of the new 18s down there I haven't opened up. If I hadn't just poured this one, I might have opened that one. But Andrew beat you to the punch. Sean, what's up?
Well, I've been thinking about this because I've been in restaurants a long time, and I've got two answers for you. I've got my answer that I personally would pick would be really anything from Glendronach would probably be what I would do.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about doing some kind of a peated Scotch, but I'm not in the mood for that every day. And so I wouldn't want to be kind of tied to it. But you give me a Glendronach 12, I'll drink that every single day, no problem. But from all of the years working in restaurants, most of the bartenders I know want two things. They want easily accessible, and they want something that makes a good cocktail. They're not drinking it by itself. In which case, I would probably bring home a bottle of Monkey Shoulder or 3 or 4, because I could probably afford that. And now I've got and I don't feel guilty about making 7 or 8 cocktails while I'm waiting out the apocalypse.
You can get a case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down with that.
Yep.
Well,
So-
Mike, it doesn't have to stay in the realm of Scotch, Mike. You know you've got a selection there. You get to choose one out of it. I mean, and if you want it to be your crown jewel, you can do that. But let's
You get a case of it. What do you want?
keep true to the question.
Do we want to go bourbon, or do we want to go Scotch, since we're
Your
on
choice.
Scotch for
Your
dummies?
choice.
It's your choice, man. This
Your
is your palate. You're the one stuck drinking it.
If it was a Scotch, I'd probably have to say Glenmorangie, probably the new 14,
Yeah.
the new
Quinta
14, because it's starting to be on like at every bar. That's what it's starting to be, and it's great. I get it. It's a toss between that 12, the old 12, and this 14 now.
Yep.
But this one's really hitting the spot.
Sure.
So I'd have to go for Scotch. Probably for a bourbon, probably have to say probably a Knob Creek, the 120.
Tom said a case of Ball Blair 90.
Well, I'm trying to think realistically.
He's trying to stay true to the question, Tom.
I'm trying to.
So,
But
I'm trying
Go
to
ahead.
think about how I would answer the question myself, and I really don't even know. Honestly, right now where I am in my journey, obviously you asked me before tonight, I'm with Andrew on 16. At Lagavulin 16 is my island Scotch. I'm stuck on an island. That's what I'm stuck for the rest of my life. But right now, in this moment, this last 2 or 3 months or better, I've really been on a sherry bomb kick, and I asked myself as Sean was talking, because he's made the comment, am I in the mood for a peat all the time? I love peated whiskey, but do I want one every glass? And so I was like, wow, is that how I feel about sherries right now, the big sherry bombs? And I got to say,
what's your biggest sherry bomb though?
but what I like about it is if I get myself a heavy sherry bomb that I really want, like let's just say, the Glendronach 18, the Allardyce. Man, if I'm not in the mood for that heavy of a rich sherry matured Scotch, I put enough water on it and it's not as rich and heavy. I can get what I want out of it without being overwhelmed or weighted down by it. So it's going to be somewhere in that sherry bomb world right now, which what's that mean? Maybe it is that 18. Maybe it's the 21 right now. Either one of those I could pour and just be in heaven for a while. And I love just sticking my nose in them. There's so many different sherry bombs that are out there right now, but to keep it simple, I'll just say, that the Glendronach 18 really it's different than the 21. Is it better? I could argue yes. I could also say the 21's better. So I'm going to say the Glendronach 18 is what I would pick. But
Yeah.
I mean, even that's getting hard to find nowadays. That one's starting to, and it's going to be not so special next year anyway, right, Scott? I mean, I think it's falling off the chart, and it's going to be an 18 as of next year anyway.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what they say.
Right.
Yeah.
But let me finish out and see if there was any other bartender. Oh yeah, so hang on. So we finished the last bartender one that I said was Balvenie 12 Doublewood. Then there was one of the bartenders said Compass Box Hedonism.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, what bar are you pouring at, right? Because that's kind of eclectic. That's
Delilah's.
yeah.
That's a unique bottle. I mean, it didn't blow me
Where
away.
else?
One of the few Compass boxes that I'm like, it's good, but
So here's one, Ardbeg Ugadale. All right, fair enough. That's definitely got a cult following to it. Balvenie 14 Caribbean Cask. Look at there.
That one too,
The
actually.
win.
That one was in there. And so there's just a couple more. There's a Tomatin 18, which that's a good whiskey. I just can't all of that. And for an 18, talk about price point. That's a pretty cheap 18-year-old whiskey.
It is.
Anach 2001. Wow, someone picked an Anach for interesting. Balvenie 12 American Oak, which is definitely different than the Doublewood. So to me, it fit the conversation of these quarantine habits and changes and what we're all dealing with and what's it mean to our drinking. I was curious to see what the whiskey bartenders, the guys that live this day in day out, what they would pick. So it was fun to go around the horn and see what you guys had to say.
I think it has a lot to do with, hey, Mark, I think it has a lot to do with what's in their bar? There are bars, like you were saying, with that Compass box, like you go to Delilah's, you have every Compass box that was created.
That's true.
On their bar. So, what's
bartenders
that bar looking at?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you've got a bartender that is good with whiskey and has a good knowledge of it, then they're going to pick a completely different whiskey.
Oh yeah.
But I think the majority of bartenders are probably going to pick something that mixes and makes a cocktail.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bartenders. That's
more common
for the most part. So anybody can pour whiskey in a glass, right?
That's right. So this was Mike Porter's pour.
Balakin. Man,
he just commented, it's time to pour one. Who's got one? Well,
hey,
I've got a good healthy pour, a log 16 here. So if I'm still alive when it gets time,
can you just throw some of that towards my glass?
You know what? That's the last I have of that, Sean. I know that they still have some up at Vine and Table. At least they did the last time. The price point that they've raised it to, $1.35, is just salty, man. It's just hard. It's a delicious whiskey. It's awesome. But I think the price point when they sold it from the expo, remember it was discounted at the expo?
Yep.
I think that was the price point for this bottle for me. And now it's back up to $1.35, and I think it's hard to get over.
Bottle? Dang.
Is that open, Andrew?
Nope. Not open
Did you
yet.
open anything?
Is that the one from Vine and Table?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
I don't have a glass of this Tamdu Batch 1 to round out the evening.
There you go.
I think for the most part, I was gonna say, for the most part, I think Sean buys all the whiskey, and you guys go there and drink his stuff, and then buy your own bottles that you keep at your houses. Is that what happens?
No. Don't confuse yourself. That might be the way it appears. We'll leave it at
that. just like you're sending the White Walker over to Bart.
Yeah.
Hey, there was one other topic before we get lost in the sauce here and shut it down if we have to. Last Monday, we did a wee bit of a fundraiser for the industry, and it went quick. It honestly, we hit our goal much quicker than we thought we were going to hit our goal. And I wanted to report back. I wanted Scotch for Dummies to report back to all of those folks that showed up on Monday and threw money at this fundraiser. What we've done with it and where it's going. As of this moment, we've taken half of it and we made one donation to a whiskey ambassador in the industry that is going through some medical issues and was just got out of the hospital, and someone that we honestly really respect and love dearly, and know that especially in these times it would help. So we made a donation for groceries for him. And then the other half of the money we are splitting amongst two of the charities that Compass Box was giving to as well. And so that's where all of those funds went, or it technically only half of them made it to their destination. The other half are still en route, but that's where it's going. And I wanted everyone to know, what we did with it and where that ended up, because we are grateful that everyone participated.
Yep.
Which I need to verify with our accountant, our money man, Andrew. As I'm saying, hey, Andrew, we did these things right.
Went directly to those, are going directly to those charities.
Right. I mean, it was easier to just reach out directly to those charities than to try and attach ourselves or with Compass Box.
We're not doing any of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just appreciate Compass Box finding the charities that they were donating to, and we respect them that we're following their lead. So thank you to anybody and everybody that pitched in on that. We very well may do it again in the future on Mondays, because I mean, anybody that's in this industry is struggling, and you know, it's an industry that we love and we rely on. I know I sure do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Sean, reach out to your money man and see how much these other guys owe you.
A lot.
Hey, man. Who let this guy in this show?
Hey, y'all, watch this.
Now he's like way over there.
Hey, now he's over there. No, he's down there.
Well, so loose outline. I wanted to tell everybody that wasn't aware or are not patrons that prior to tonight's show, we did our first video patron show, pre-show. Normally we do a Discord voice channel pre-show for our patrons, and tonight we did it via Zoom, which was pretty cool. It was different. It's fun. It was fun to get and see folks' faces. We had somebody from Australia. We had someone from Scotland.
That was really cool.
And all over the U.S. It was really cool to have everybody just kind of in the same format. We were all shooting the breeze, talking about anything and everything under the sun. It was a good time. So, you know, if you're interested in seeing what's going on before the shows or after the shows, that Patreon's where it's at. But we had a good time. So, Drew, pass this over to you.
Our patron-only show, right?
Yeah, actually, good point, Sean. Next Thursday, so a week from tonight, will be our patron-only live show for the month of April. We do have special guests lined up. It might be the same special guest that Scott's meeting with tomorrow.
Maybe.
We've got some other stuff going on too, though. So
yeah, we do have some other stuff. Actually, we've got a guest that reached out to us that we've never had on the show, and I'm sure it's a result of this whole situation. But hey, why not have him on? He's in Scotland, and you know, it won't hurt. But we will give out more details to the patrons via Patreon, you know, with the patron messaging and stuff, and let you guys know the details on what's going on with that. So for anybody that's not a patron, there will not be a live show on Thursday of next week. We'll still do our Monday to replace our Monday review, since we're not doing that, right?
Yep. Yeah. You got the blind tasting coming up. I'm bringing the thunder.
He's bringing the thunder.
Bringing the thunder.
I got it.
Hey, listen, Mike, it's good to see you tonight. It's been a long time. We'll have to get you back on more often, buddy. We miss you. And Scott, always good to see you.
Scott, awesome to see you too, brother.
Good to see you, Scott, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Love y'all. Stay safe and healthy.
It's almost Friday.
It is.